Is Condor Airlines as bad as everyone says it is? Today, I'm flying on Condor's business class on their A330-900neo from Frankfurt to my home city of Toronto. But having never flown Condor before, I decided to check reviews online to see what I was in for. And needless to say, there were some pretty scathing reviews, like 100% absolutely do not book. Worst experience ever. Rude service, spoiled food, and nothing short of a disaster. And with an overall rating of 2.5 out of 5 on Expedia, it seems like I've taken quite the risk to try them out. If I'm being honest, mostly because I got a crazy price for the flight, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. But let's find out on today's flight if I've made a huge mistake. Today, our trip starts off at Frankfurt Airport at Terminal 3. But before we get to check-in, let's talk about Condor's livery. Condor Airlines is of course famous for their stripes, which is supposed to represent the fact that they're a leisure airline. And according to Condor themselves, the stripes are inspired by parasols, bath towels, and beach chairs. But let me know in the comments what you think about the stripes. Do you think they're fun, or are they just tacky? But whether you love them or you hate them, you have to admit they know how to leave an impression.
Alright, so I'm here right now at the Condor check-in counters. They do, of course, have a dedicated lane for business class passengers, but I am a little worried because I heard that Condor does weigh in carry-on bags, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned that my carry-on bag might be overweight. Wish me luck.
And here's what the business class check-in looks like. As you can see, the stripe theme continues through every step of the Condor journey. I don't have any bags to check in today, I just have my carry-on. And thankfully, my carry-on was 7 kilograms, which is well under the weight limit of 10 kilograms for carry-ons. With boarding pass in hand, let's go check out the lounge.
Alright, so I'm here at the lounge right now, and Condor doesn't have its own lounges here at Frankfurt, but as a business class passenger, they do give you access to the Lufthansa Business Class lounge. If you couldn't already tell by the giant Lufthansa logo over there right behind me. It's a little unfortunate because I feel like Condor would do something really fun if they had their own lounge, maybe really lean into the stripe theme, maybe have a vacation theme since it is a leisure airline, but at least they do provide some sort of lounge access. So let's go check out Lufthansa Business Class Lounge.
Lufthansa has 5 business class lounges in Frankfurt, but we'll be visiting the one by gate B44 since that's the one that's closest to our gate. The lounge isn't particularly large. It's a little on the small side actually, but luckily it isn't too busy today, so there's still a decent amount of seating available. In terms of food, it's a self-service buffet, and the food options are kind of limited, so don't be expecting any gourmet meals here. Although I did really enjoy the candy bar, and the pretzel basket was great too. Being German, the large selection of beer did not disappoint, but if you're having one of those days, there's also harder stuff available as well. There's also a workstation area as well as showers, although I didn't have time to take one before my flight. And if you have a family, there's also a children's play area. But that's enough about the lounge, let's get going to our flight. And here she is, our A330-900neo today. And unfortunately, it looks like we got the most boring color of the entire livery, the beige stripes. But obviously, that's not really a huge deal. The most important thing, of course, is that it gets us to our home safely. As a business class passenger, we'll get to board in Group 1. And after getting my boarding pass scanned and passport verified, it's time to get on our plane. Our berth today has 30 business class seats arranged in a 1-2-1 configuration. But before we get to our seat at 4A, let's talk about the 4 seats in the first row known as the Prime Business Class seats. The Prime Business Class seats are significantly larger than the standard business class seats, as you can see here. They also have a larger 24-inch IFE and a massive footwell. There's also this ottoman here so someone can join you if you want, and a little extra storage space here as well. Some other perks of the Prime seats are free Wi-Fi, pajamas, your own personal snack basket, and a Prime travel pack. It does cost an extra 300 euros though, and I would have loved to have tried these, but they were already booked. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that these are worth an extra 300 euros. But let's go check out our seat at seat 4A. And here's our seat. This is what the standard business class seats look like. They're upholstered in dark blue fabric, and the headrest is dressed in stripes too, of course. By the side table, we got headphones, an amenity kit, and a bottle of water. And there's also a universal power port, USB-A port, USB-C port, and a headphone jack. Here's what the footwell space looks like. Much smaller than the business class prime seats, but I found it to be sufficient enough. Shortly before takeoff, the FA stops by and gives us hot towels. They also offer us welcome drinks. I chose the white wine, but there was also orange juice and water available as well. They also gave us slippers, and they're striped of course. And after quickly changing out of my shoes and into the striped slippers, it's time to put on the crossbody seatbelt, watch the safety video, and wait for pushback and takeoff. And in the distance, there's another green striped Condor plane. Once we're solidly in the air, it's time to pop out the tray table from under the IFE because it's now time for the welcome snacks. The FA comes by and dresses our table with a white linen cloth, and we're given a small dish of mixed salted nuts. Now let's check out the drink and food menus. This is what the drink menu looks like. It's a bit limited in selection, but given the cost of this flight, I think it's good enough. And as for the food menu, this is what it looks like. Written in both German and English, this is what we have to look forward to for lunch, as well as the pre-arrival meal and snack. I ordered their signature cocktail first, the Condorpolitan. Made with vodka, lychee, lime zest, and cranberry juice, this was absolutely disgusting. It tasted like cough syrup. Please do not put this in your mouth under any circumstances. The appetizer arrives next, and believe it or not, all of this food is just the appetizer, so buckle up because we got a lot to go through. There was a salad, sweet potato dip, cheese, marinated roast beef with lentil and quinoa salad, hot smoked salmon fillet, and even though this looks like a cheesecake, it was a sweet potato and pumpkin delice. The FA also stopped by and offered us some carbs from the bread basket, and I of course went with my favorite, garlic bread. Also, how cute is this Condor airplane-shaped salt and pepper shaker? After the appetizer, the main arrives. I got the beef roulade, which is a German dish that's basically braised beef that's rolled with bacon, mustard, pickles, and veggies, and then covered in a gravy sauce. It was served with a side of potato dumplings and red cabbage with apples. This wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything special either. I give it a 7 out of 10. My boyfriend got the ricotta tortellini with Savoy cabbage and a mushroom cream sauce that he said was actually really good. And last but not least, of course, it's time for dessert. Dessert was a chocolate tart with a cranberry sauce. This was creamy and very chocolatey. Definitely the best part of the meal. I decided to order a cup of tea as well, but in the meantime, let's check out the amenity kit. This is the amenity kit, and as you can see, it's made out of cardboard. Now, normally I would not be impressed with a cardboard amenity kit, but given the cost of this flight, it gets a pass. Inside the amenity kit, there was a striped eye mask, face moisturizer, lip balm from Netherlands-based skincare brand Rituals, a dental kit, striped socks, and a small card letting us know that earplugs are available upon request. In addition to the amenity kit, they also gave us this cooling bag travel organizer. It's part of a collection of travel organizers, and it's basically an insulated bag that you would store your lunch in for work or school. Personally, I'd rather have a proper amenity bag instead of cardboard over this insulated lunch bag. But let me know down in the comments what you think about the cardboard amenity kit and the lunch bag. Alright, let's go check out the lavatories now. Business class passengers have access to 3 dedicated washrooms. The washrooms come complete with a foot pedal to open the trash bin, as well as a fully striped wall. There's also a baby change table and, of course, a toilet. In terms of amenities, they had hand cream from Rituals, and inside these striped packets, there were moisture wipes. And after washing up real quick, let's head on back to our seats. Back at our seats, it's time for us to get into lie flat mode. As part of the bedding, you do get this roll here, and inside the roll is a mattress cover. The mattress cover is 100% polyester though, so it's not the greatest. You also get this big fluffy pillow, a striped blanket, which is pretty thin as you can see here. And even though this was a fully daytime flight, I will of course demonstrate what it looks like if you do decide to sleep. It's 78 inches in lie flat mode. Now let's talk about the IFE, which is 17.3 inches in 4K. There's a remote here if you don't want to use the touchscreen. And features include Bluetooth so that you can connect your own earphones. For entertainment, there was exactly 276 movies and 72 TV shows. Although you can see here that the TV shows only have a few episodes available, which is kind of pointless. And if you don't have your own headphones, you can use these ones that they provide to you. They're noise cancelling and they're decent enough. They also come with these earphone covers that you can use for added germ protection, I guess. I don't know what else these would be for. Throughout the flight, the FAs would walk around and offer a basket of blueberry muffins as a snack. These were just okay. Pretty standard muffins. Then I spent the next few hours watching movies, and before you know it, it's time for the pre-arrival meal. But before the meal, we did get a hot towel, of course. This was the pre-arrival meal. It came with a bowl of fruit and a sandwich, and inside the sandwich there was ham, lettuce, and red pepper cheese. And for dessert, some pound cake. And as we start to land in Toronto, let's talk about how much all this cost.
All right, so as always, let's talk about cost. So I actually booked this as a codeshare flight. So the tickets were actually booked through WestJet, but obviously it's being operated by Condor. And one way between Frankfurt and Toronto Pearson was $1,342 Canadian, or just under $2,700 for both me and my boyfriend, which I feel like is an outrageously good price, just because at the time when I was booking it, which was about 4 or 5 months in advance of the actual flight, there were only 2 other airlines that had this exact same route on the exact same day, and that was Air Canada and Lufthansa. And Air Canada and Lufthansa were selling it for about $2,000 Canadian, but for economy class. So $650 more to fly in economy on Air Canada or Lufthansa. So for me, it felt like a no-brainer to pay $1,342 for business class on Condor. And you know what? Despite the bad reviews online, I am the type of person that takes online reviews with a grain of salt, and I prefer to try things for myself and be my own judge. And I am really, really glad that I did, because for what I paid and for what I got, I am very, very happy. Now, don't get me wrong. Is Condor Airlines perfect? No. Is it the best airline? Also no. But like I said, for what I paid and for what I got, I feel like it was really, really good value at this price point.
Now that we've arrived in Toronto, let's deboard the plane. But before we deboard, just some final thoughts on Condor Business Class. Overall, I think that Condor Business Class is probably good for someone who doesn't really care about anything except for having lie flat seats. But if you are the type of person that wants all the bells and whistles from end to end, like high-end lounge, culinary grade food, and luxury amenities, then Condor Airlines is probably not going to be for you. But let me know what you guys think about Condor. If you've tried Condor Business Class, how was your experience? And if you haven't, do you think Condor is an airline that you'd try? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you've made it here to the end, don't forget to like and subscribe to join me on more flights like this one.